For the second part of our color scheme studies, we're going to choose a split complementary, which I'm going to describe in just a minute. But I photographed two objects and turned that photo into a black and white image and printed it, making sure that there's a good range of value. And then I'm going to choose my split complementary. So I chose blue and then red, orange, and yellow, orange, because blue and orange are complements, but we take out the orange and add the two colors that are on either side of it. So once I've done that, I'm doing the same process that we did for the analogous. I'm tracing that image along with the little abstract areas where the values shift. You're mapping those out as well, just like you did in your analogous project. And I'm going to trace that image onto my visual journal page, and then I'm going to start painting. I need to think about where I'm going to use these three colors and how they're going to relate to shape and shadow and light. So I'm using dark blue for the hat, and I'm going to have to do a couple of layers of paint to make sure it's nice and opaque. But you'll notice at the top there's those two shapes there that I did not paint dark blue, and that's because they're a lighter value in the original photograph. So I'm going to go in with a lighter value blue and paint them. Then I chose a yellow-orange for the bill of the hat in certain areas. The mesh at the back of the hat, there's some dark shadow there in my original photograph, so I'm using my red-orange for some of the shadows. And then the glasses, I had to decide what I was going to do in terms of color, and I decided to make them red-orange and yellow-orange. But the original glasses are actually reflective lenses, so I chose to do the lenses in blue, which you'll see here in just a minute. But I'm mapping those areas out where the value shifts because of light and shadow. Again, it's really important to figure out ahead of time what areas of the image you're going to paint in which color. So you're working with three colors, and you have to figure out where you're going to use them, and then the value part of it's pretty easy because you just go with the light and the shadows from the original image. So you can see that I'm working on the lens area where there's a lot of reflective shapes in there. And I chose blue for the lenses, just to contrast with the frame of the glasses. And also to offer some balance in the composition, since the hat is the larger shape and it's mostly blue, I wanted to just have some balance in there with more blue. And I go in with a small detail brush to create like the stitching on the bill, or some highlighted areas of the sunglasses, some shadows, some really light shadows that need to happen, or thin shadows, I should say, that need to happen. So your detail brush is good for that. And the letters. Just work slowly so that you get it right. Now I wanted to show you guys what happens when you mix two complementary colors together. If you remember in lecture, I said that you can make brown. Well, the same is true if you mix your split complementary colors. So I wanted to show you what that looks like, the different kinds of brown that can be made. So some of these have a reddish tint to them. Some of them have a little bit more of a blue tint to them. But it's all just from mixing my split complementary colors together. And I thought that that would be a good example to do the tabletop in that, just so you guys can see what it looks like when you mix brown by mixing complementary or split complementary colors. I'm just going back in and remixing colors, adding those shadows and making sure that they're layered so it's not opaque, or so it's not transparent. We want it opaque. So you guys can continue watching this video as I finish it up. But here's the finished project. Pretty easy and pretty cool. So get to work.